What's going on, you guys? My name is Woof and welcome to today's video. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you guys how I study for finals. So let's get started. Number one, taking a lot of breaks is how I study for finals in one way. If I take a lot of breaks, that means I can come back to what I'm doing, study for one exam, and come back and study for the next exam so I have a fresh brain. But I also retain the information that I had just read about or just studied for, so all the information is not just thrown into one big ball of information that's not for one exam, but multiple exams. Number two, this is a little more obvious, but studying in a place where there aren't many distractions. So for me, I have two doggos. I have Minnie and I have Doggo. And sometimes Minnie can be a bit of a distraction, so I kind of have to find a way to study without her being a distraction. So sometimes I will study while she's playing with Doggo, so she'll usually leave me alone. Or when she decides she's done for the day, I will study and go through what I need to study. So I'm pretty well prepared in that regard, because having a dog does provide for distractions, and having other animals provides for distraction as well as family. So you kind of just have to formulate a plan of when to study, when's a good time, and you have to kind of make time too, because if you wait for time, you might not ever find time. Number three, music. So a big thing for my studying is music. I like to listen to video game score or movie score, and it really helps because there are no words usually in the music. So instead of focusing on the words, I will hear this music and it helps with my studying. For me, this music formulates easier thoughts and it's easier for me to study because it will be calming music and I can focus on this rather than on something else, so that's extremely nice. I can kind of just throw myself into this music and into my studying because the music really won't distract me from my studying. So that's very, very nice. It just won't distract me and it'll help me relax. I try to use regular music, but that kind of just distracts me. And sometimes I'll write down the specific words that I'm listening to, so I don't listen to regular music whenever I study, so that doesn't happen. Number four, studying ahead of time. Now, studying ahead of time, it really does help me, especially throughout the recent semesters. As long as I study ahead of time, I'm usually pretty well prepared, and this has kind of helped me through the years. It's helped me realize that studying ahead of time does help, because then you don't have to go back and learn all this information that you should have already known. It's kind of a refresher. So studying like you're studying for an exam or a final is studying ahead of time, and it definitely helps, or at least it helps me study for my finals. And while it's a lot of information you can go through, trying to study all this information from the earlier semester really clogs up your brain if you try to do it all at once. Number five, so this is a new one, studying thoroughly. So if you study thoroughly and you just don't skim the chapters, then you'll retain more of the information and you'll get the most important parts. You can't just skim the information. You can't just skip the information that you want to learn. You have to go through the information. You have to thoroughly understand it. And that's how I also study for finals, is going through it thoroughly, understanding all the parts to it, understanding step 1, 2, 3, or part 1, part 2, part 3, all the parts and all the steps. So this is a new part, and I've learned this, and I've started studying more thoroughly compared to in the past. And the more thoroughly you study, especially for these harder classes, you'll do better than if you were to just skim the entire chapter. Number 6, not studying the night before or just cram studying. Now for me, this doesn't work. I can't cram study. I can't study last minute. It doesn't work that way for me. I have to study it. I have to study it over time. I cannot cram study, and I cannot study the night before. I have to get a I have to get some amount of sleep for me to be awake and for me to remember and retain the information that I've learned and that I've gone through. So I don't cram study. I can't cram study, and that's definitely how I study and keep all the information that I'm learning, is not cram studying. Do not study the night before hoping to remember all this information, because it doesn't work. And for some people it might work, but it definitely doesn't work for me. But that is how I study for finals. Finals are less than 2 weeks away, actually. So they're right around the corner, and they're coming up very quickly. So they're right around the corner for me. They're less than 2 weeks away for me. So make sure you study for your finals and prepare adequately for your finals. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. And as usual, guys, I'll see you guys next time in the next video. So see you guys later.